RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live for a Monday night edition. Excited to connect. Looking forward to finding out what's on your mind, what's on your radar, which have you guys been keeping an eye on. Welcome to the live stream. My name is Mike, the host. Looking forward to connecting. So if we have any new viewers out there, let me know where you're watching from. Would love to take the time to acknowledge your presence. Thank you for being a part of the community. So let me know in the chat real quick, or when the phone lines open up, 313-462-0027 is the number you can call to let your voice be heard. And so, man, I got a lot of articles worth touching on. And so I'll just skim through the surface, basically share my 2 cents on it, and then open up the phone lines, and I would love to hear from you guys. So let's dive right in. I'll do a little maintenance on my side, and then jump right into the articles, and then open up the phone lines because I'm curious to hear what you guys have been keeping an eye on. And I hope everyone is good and had a good weekend. So let me pop this up real quick. And I'll acknowledge a couple people first, then I'll do a little maintenance. We got Ed Hammond in the building. Appreciate you. We got Feeling Right joining us. I appreciate that. Solo. We got Dude Boy, DC Precise in the building. We got Mike Bruce, Vu Tran Tam. We got Frank Sensor joining us. L Walk, JBW. Let me see here. We got Mike Money McLeod. Appreciate you, man. We got Gene. We got Mr. Nitty joining us. All right, fair amount of people here. So, yeah, definitely for those tuning in, hit the thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. Definitely be worth your time. And also, hopefully, it helps alert the algorithms to notify more people because every now and then you may not be notified. So you know how it goes. So anyway, let's dive right in, man. I got a lot of good articles I want to share. And then also, as I always mention, there's more stories than I can probably cover on my own. And that's why I rely upon those in the community to put articles and whatnot in the Discord page. And so a lot of the articles I'm going to cover, I grabbed from the Discord page because that's how, I stay up on a lot of things from you guys. So appreciate the help and support with that one. So let me dive right in real quick, and then we'll jump through some articles, man, and open up the phone lines because I want to hear from you guys. So for those that are new to the community, rethinkingthedollar.com is the home page where you can find everything from reports to articles to videos, you name it. Anything you want to know there about relevant news today, it's there. And then, of course, all the videos I recommended videos. And if you scroll down the very bottom, for those that might be new, 5 steps to unplug from the monetary matrix. First one is simply just the awakening period, just testing your IQ, 10 simple questions. So far, we're above 60% on average, and that's a good thing. So the numbers are increasing. And, of course, we're far away from where it needs to be in order to make sure everybody's awake and aware and unplug as best they can from a financial stance. And of course, we all know it points to getting your weight up, as I like to say. So definitely take that if you're interested. And then this upcoming Wednesday night, we're going to have off the air hangout for those that are interested in joining me face to face on screen and just ranting and just basically just letting some air off your chest. That's all. And so get a good chance to do it via the RTD Hangout. So this Wednesday coming up, we're going to be doing that. If you're interested, consider becoming a Patreon member. You can join us and let it rant as well. And then for those that are interested in connecting beyond YouTube, which will be my recommendation, because within the next 6 to 12 months, YouTube will definitely be slashing a lot of alternative voices from their platform. And of course, I want to make sure you guys are connected on other places. So social media tab beneath this video here, all the places you can find RTD. I encourage the Telegram, the Discord, and of course the email list. And so I send out an email once a week, giving you guys a heads up for the videos that are coming so you guys can stay plugged in. So that's my little spiel right then and there. So let's dive in, man. I appreciate everybody hanging out. And so real quick, before we dive into some of these articles, what are some things that you guys are keeping an eye on? There's all type. We got some geopolitical stuff, happening in the Middle East. What it looks like Biden trying to bomb Syria again, and we're gonna see how Russia responds with that. We got, of course, global push to put jabs in people's arms, and it's ramping up seriously in several states with the government workers now being mandated to do it or else. So California and New York is pretty heavy. And of course, I saw a video this in a Discord that somebody put there about, I guess the Canadian government sending letters in the mail to people. And on the cover letter, it's just basically just put all your business out there. And it's one of the things where it's designed to make people, feel shameful in the fact that they have not participated. And of course, now your neighbors know, because if they read your mail, saw the front of the cover, they would know where you stand. So a lot of stuff going on, man. And I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. So once again, I want to make sure I make it available for you guys to share your 2 cents, because it is a people's talk show. Let me see here. I see a lot of thoughts here. Fake. Be careful with those those fake cards, fake passports, because they're deliberately putting that stuff out here, knowing that it's easy for people to duplicate those things, making fake versions of it, because they're going to use that against us at one point when they say that we can't trust what's real and what's fake. And so we got to come out with the QR codes and all the apps. And so it's going to start off as cards, but of course it's going to end as scannable QR codes on your phone, because everything we're going to be forced to do will take place through our phones. Everything from the CBDCs to the passports to your digital ID card, which will be associated with your credit score, all through whether it's was the Fed app, Treasury app, one of those apps is going to be coming within the next 2-3 years. You can count on that one. So take advantage of it while you can, but yet it's coming. And Colony says France passed legislation forcing huge rise protests going on right now. Yeah, that's one thing we'll never hear on mainstream news. So I'd encourage everybody to definitely. There's a lot of alternative sites out there where you can go and actually see video footage. And so I saw, I think it was the president's house. They sprayed the walls with manure from like a big dump truck. So that was funny. And then there's all types of things out here, man. There's I think Tunisia having issues. Let me see what else. Of course, Italy. I think Greece. The UK. So yeah, it's out there, man. And there's videos out there to show it, but yet it's all under the table. It's nothing on the mainstream surface. So, all right. So let me dive in real quick to some of the articles, some things that caught my attention, man. And so I'll try to keep it well versed on a variety of subjects here. But the very first one, because the primary reason, amongst many other, that we're experiencing this current global monetary experiment, it happens to be the end of this current monetary paradigm, and it's ending right now. And they need an excuse to cover everything up. And of course, they're using this whole health situation. We know how that goes, but yet there's more to the story that we're not being told. But when I see mainstream articles with the titles basically telling people exactly where we're at and where we're standing, that lets us know that it's probably a lot worse than what we all are feeling at this current moment. And then here's something I've been preaching forever. And so for those that have been a part of the community, I've been talking about this subject matter for quite some time, because it's only obvious that at this current moment, there's no way of sustaining this current everything is accessibly available to us at the drop of a dime, and that they can continue to live off of finance, lifestyle, and things like that, because it's mathematically impossible to sustain it for long, because the world reserve currency is in jeopardy and it's time for something new. And so that's why we're at the point we're at now. And so here's an article I want to share with you real quick, and I'll thumb through it. I kind of made a thumbnail video off this because this was put in the Discord page from a week ago. But BlackRock CEO Fink is speaking here. And of course, BlackRock is one of the biggest corporations, money management corporations on the planet for the most part. So when he speaks, he definitely knows what's going on. But in this little short video here, he said a lot of things that I think is worth taking a listen to. And of course, if you're watching this, you're plugged in, you're more than aware of what's really going on. So at the end of the day, he basically said that, you will definitely not be able to retire if you're solely dependent upon your savings, because the current environment we're in now, especially with it trending towards outright negative territory, there's no way you can earn anything moving forward off your savings or off of any of the investments if they're in things that are relatively risky, because all the risk falls on you. And he flat out said what people should do. And he mentioned that all the easing that's taking place have gone into the markets favoring those that hold real assets. And so the people who hold real assets in the form of, of course, real estate, land, and of course, metals or whatnot. And of course, for the cryptocurrency people out there, if you've held your cryptocurrencies, you've done a lot better than not having them, I would imagine. But then it says here, Fink says he believes people are increasingly beginning to put money to work in the stock market instead of keeping it in lower risk investments or savings accounts. Unquestionably, as central banks keep rates low or negative in Europe, the savers are getting slammed. People, quote, may have to work longer because they're not earning the same returns on their savings. And that's the biggest thing. The retirement paradigm, as I've always said, this decade, it's already being challenged now. We've witnessed being challenged over the last decade since the great financial crises. That was just the beginning. As I mentioned before, in my personal opinion, retirement in the form of being able to live happily ever after off of funds that are provided to you on a monthly basis from your portfolio, that definitely will also be challenged as well, if not not available for most people. And that's why I think in this little short clip, he mentioned the importance of owning real assets. And I think the most undervalued asset, of course, on the planet happens to be silver. And that's something that you can hold in your possession directly and not worry about any counterparty risk, and just basically buy it and hold on to it. And in time, it will definitely be a sponge and absorb a lot of this easing and all this other counterfeit stuff that's coming. So just my 2 cents there. Chris, man, appreciate you for the love offering. It says, Mike, what will it take to end the Fed? If not, we're doomed. Chris, great question, man. What will it take to end the Fed? My personal opinion is that at this current moment, there's no easy answer for that. And I don't think there's no real solution to ending the Fed, because outside of the people choosing to opt out of the system by taking as much of your purchasing power out of their hands, and your purchasing power is in their hands if everything you do is dependent upon the Federal Reserve note being your primary store of wealth. And so I'd imagine outside of holding real tangible assets, as the Larry Fink just mentioned, the medium of exchange we use is the Federal Reserve note. And that's why I think just today, video in the Discord was about the IMF being concerned with people and nations using Bitcoin, because a lot of people have realized the dangers of holding national currencies. And so as long as the governments are in power, they will continue to use central banks, i.e. the Federal Reserve, to fund their operations. And so you can't do away with one without the other. The government put the Federal Reserve in position to manage the finances of our government. Therefore, they're going to work hand in hand. So outside of those people in D.C. that call the shots, if the people don't stand up and recognize what's going on and basically remove power from them by opting out of using their currency outright. And of course, taxation is the primary driver to where people feel obligated to continue to use that currency, because as of now, we're still paying taxes, even though that's questionable, borderline, illegal. But most people don't challenge that. So until people stop drinking the Kool-Aid and realize that they have power right in their pockets, i.e. their purchasing power, their currency, nothing's going to change. So I wouldn't hold my breath. My personal opinion and recommendation would be to minimize your exposure and minimize your risk involved in a currency that that's going sub-zero. We're already in sub-zero territory. I got a couple articles here I'm going to share with you that shows how the growth narrative is struggling right now, big time. We got the moratoriums coming to an end at the end of this week, which means August could be a real piece of work. And then I got a lot of graphs here showing how we're at the peak of a lot of bubble tops, possibly. And if anything goes wrong, if some unforeseen event occurs, then all hell gonna break loose to where there'll be nowhere to run other than out of this old dying system. So just my little 2 cents there. And so this plays into more. Let me actually show so I got a couple things here. So here is something. Let me put this on the screen here. This is real truth right here. These are the numbers. These are the numbers here. And so this is an article from, where's this from? This is from confoundedinterest.net. And I thought, just when I saw those numbers, this is what they're fighting. They're fighting the fact that the economy is imploding on itself. And ultimately, from a macro standpoint, deflation is their biggest worry. And so I actually watched a couple great videos, a couple great interviews that was recommended in the Discord from George Gammon about the collateral issue. And so there's a lot of issues that's very complicated in nature. But at the end of the day, there's an issue with the collateral of there not being enough government bonds utilized in the system on the back end to counter and to account for all the currency that's been created. So it's extremely interesting to learn more about this stuff. Anyway, alarm: U.S. real yields and real mortgage rates fall to record low amid growth concerns. Growth concerns. How can you grow when everything is subsidized by debt creation, and productivity and the supply chain issues is heading south? It's not possible. So they're going to try to paper their way out of this. And of course, it won't be enough to actually solve the problem. But it says real 10-year treasury yield falls to negative 3.92, while the 30-year mortgage rate falls to negative 2.68. And you get these numbers when you take the current measure of inflation they gave us to track the current bond yields, and you see where we're standing right now. So ultimately, it does not pay. It does not pay you to support the government by buying this debt. So the question is, who's buying it? Hedge funds, all the people who are supposed to buy it are buying these things, but your average Joe's, I'm sure, is not buying government bonds. But here's just here's a 10-year yield based on headline CPI US negative. So savers are losers, ultimately, what this boils down to. Supporting this old dime paradigm puts you in a very bad position to lose everything that you think you're protecting with that whole 40-60 portfolio allocation model. And so that's just some numbers here. Got a lot of great graphs here. And then the next one here, it says stock market remains in bubble territory as Buffett indicator and Shiller Cape ratio point to trouble. And so here's just some interesting graphs that I thought I would bring up. And so the S&P 500, we all-time highs in all those markets. If you believe it, it's all a bubble. But yet one thing I noticed when I was looking at this was that the last time we had S&P volatility index starting to creep up, this of course was 2019, and right now it just began tanking. And so here it looks like, is there a possibility, volatility index is starting to creep back up a little bit, showing some concerns in the market. Is there something coming right ahead? We will find out. And then, of course, we know the M2 response with the currency creation. It parallels exactly the S&P 500. So that means more currency will be needed to keep this thing afloat. And then the Buffett ratio here is at an all-time high. At the same time, M2 money stock as well. So minus the stimulus, there would be no continuation of these bubbles. So that's why this $3.5 trillion infrastructure plan has to be passed with no problems, and the debt ceiling issue. They have to completely remove the debt ceiling issue to even try to keep this thing stable. So here's a Shiller PE ratio. And of course, whenever this thing is at a high, that means it's beyond sustainable. And every time it's going up, BlackTuesday.com, we got the Black Monday. And right now we'll call this, I don't know what I'm going to call this, but 38.32 lets you know that it's overpriced and it's ready to basically come down. And then here's all the other things as well. So this is the problem. This is one of the many problems that governments around the world are fighting against. It's the fact that they are no longer able to paper this thing over. They're not able to print enough currency to keep this thing afloat. At the same time, on the microeconomic level, we're fighting prices increasing as well. And they're trying to really sell that to us, while trying not to make sure we realize what's really going on is the piping of the system is clogged up, causing the system to implode on itself, i.e. that's the whole thing of deflation. So, but anyway, a couple more things here, and then I'll open up the phone lines. And so here's an interesting article. Just let you know where the world's at. UK banks prepared for negative rates in case recovery crumbles. In case or when is the better question. In case or when the recovery crumbles. So anybody who looks at things from a long-term perspective realize that there has never been a recovery. It's always just a matter of it's a restructuring. We're entering into a global restructuring, and that's why the whole idea of a great reset has been mentioned, because they've made it clear that the dollar system is no longer sustainable. It's time to move on to something else. And of course, they're using technology and the climate issue and all those other things to bring about their agenda, which we know will lead to more centrally controlled operations outside of the people's hands, unfortunately. And then here is what we're facing here this fall. This is what's coming up. Economists clash over inflation tied to Biden's $3.5 trillion spending plan. It says, if these policies work, then Argentina, Mexico, and Zimbabwe would be the richest countries in the world. And we all know the state of affairs in those nations: extreme inflation, borderline currencies are completely devalued, and your average Joe that saved all those paper units are hurting severely. But there are some winners. There are some winners in all those countries. They're the people that held real assets, things that acted as sponges that absorbed all that money printing or currency printing, and preserved and protected and allowed people to increase their gains in the midst of all this stuff. So a couple more articles here, then we can get ready to open up a little bit. And here's another little article I thought was interesting. BlackRock moves. So BlackRock's at it again. Move sends record 1.4 billion into inflation hedge ETF. So they're basically trying to hedge themselves against the expectation of the inflation numbers continuing to go up. So that's just a sign as to what they're doing. They're putting their currency where their beliefs is that they're trying to protect themselves. We'll see how that plays out. And then, of course, millions of renters face unprecedented spike in evictions as a moratorium expires. So I think this is going to be one of the most interesting events that will occur if they don't do anything. And as of now, to my knowledge, there's nothing on the books that would allow them to extend even further, because I think some judges have overturned the CDC's ruling on stepping in. But it says millions of Americans on the brink of eviction despite billion in aid passed by Congress. More than 80 jurisdictions haven't even started the distribution programs by the end of May. So there's funds set aside. Of course, they're trying to provide funds for everything, but for some reason, the funds have been held up. I would imagine because they want this event to go down, because it gives them more reason to look to pass more trillions to funnel it through the banks. And then on the last one here, I'll stop rambling. Here's something I thought would be interesting. People who have been impacted by this experience here will be eligible for disability. And I'm not sure if that's just the actual illness or the response to the jab that will probably follow in the short term or long term as well. But you can get disability now. So you imagine once you offer from the government any type of program for people to get on and get in, you'll never be able to take that stuff back. So we're going to have all types of fraud, all types of scams of people trying to say that they've been injured, whether they have been. More than likely, they have participated. They will be. But this is just what's happening. Giving away currency. Give it away while you still can. And that's the type of environment we're in, man. But anyway, I got more articles, but I'll hold on to some. But I want to open up the phone lines. Let's talk, man. This is the People's Talk Show. What are you guys keeping an eye on? What do you guys see? Let's talk. Watchdog Group. I see a lot of thoughts out here. Carrie says, what we got here? What this says here says a Watchdog Group thinks that 2.2 trillion will be more like 3.5 trillion. 3.5 trillion, 2.2, whatever. At this point, most people don't even really consider the fact that we're talking about trillions, not billions. It was billions during the great financial crisis. Now it's in the trillions. And as I've talked about the last several months, every 3 to 4 months, once those stimulus checks run out and the funds are no longer available, they need another round. And so it's going to be trillions from this point on. But you got to realize what they're ultimately, everything that they're trying to prop up and maintain at face value as best as they can happens to be at the very peak of this X's pyramid. Derivatives. They'll need 1 point something quadrillion just to make payments on all the packaged up financial products they've created, of which there's no way you can bring into existence 1.4 quadrillion at one time. So they're going to try to bring out 3 trillion, 3 trillion, 3 trillion, 3 trillion. And then once that unforeseen event, or like this fall, there might be some type of cyber event, because the reverse repo market activity, I think, will be the fuse. I think the fuse, to be honest with you, I think the fuse was lit in April, March, when the reverse repo concept came across my attention, and where the world started paying attention on how exponentially that thing spiked up. And actually, I actually got this little graph right here. This is from Friday with Mario, but this is something that I think this is the fuse that was lit. And once this fuse was lit, there's no putting this boy out. So this is that reverse repo situation we have here. And the higher this thing goes, it just shows how much they are losing control of this whole experience here, because this is the banks trying to get rid of cash. And of course, everything we've always experienced was designed to provide cash for the banks so that they can maintain their operations. So when you got banks looking to get rid of it because it's apparently too much, that's when you know something is wrong, because everything we're experiencing is designed to keep the banks afloat. The bankers run the world. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
How you doing? This is Maccabees calling from Louisiana.
Maccabees, how you doing, man? Give me what's on your mind tonight. Let's talk.
Oh man, I like your show. You put out great material.
Appreciate
you're very intelligent, and you actually see what's going on. But I was listening to you talk about the stimulus checks, and basically what they're doing is they're setting a trap for all Americans to get ready to bring in this new digital system.
Yeah.
And once they pull it all away from them, basically they're going to introduce the mark of the beast chip, which is the RFID microchip.
Okay.
And they're going to force everybody, if they want Section 8, or if you want government assistance, or if you want these things, you've been having all these people over the year stay at home and be getting their stimulus checks. There's no way. And not only that, 23 countries have dropped the dollar. Also, Russia has dropped all their assets.
Right.
And China is bringing forth that digital yuan, which China is the largest producer in the world. So you see China moving with their Belt and Road Initiative, and they think that they're going to rule next, but all this is setting up for this global new world order system, which these elites at Davos have basically set a snare for everybody on the planet.
Yeah.
So with the jab, it's got nanotechnology in it, and that jab is going to connect to the RFID microchip, which is going to put you on the system, which is going to be a system where they can be able to track everybody on the planet, like this digital, like the credit score over there in China. And basically they're going to be able to basically control the whole planet. So when you look on the top of that pyramid on the back of that dollar, it's the all-seeing eye. Well, that's the all-seeing eye because these elites want to be like God, being able to see what you think, see what you do, track everything. You got Google, you got Pegasus software, whatever, to track and monitor everything you do, everywhere you go. And basically they're bringing in this system of basically control and curtail the whole world.
Right. Good stuff, man.
So,
hey, I'm in step with you, man. I appreciate your call, and definitely we talk about that a lot. So thank you for sharing your insights, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, be good. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Good insight. Good insight. So basically, just the timeline of things he walked us through. That's something that at this point, a lot of people who are awake and aware can actually it's not conspiracy theory anymore. Like, this is true stuff that's happening. Just look all around us, man. It's taking place in other countries first. And so it's just a matter of time before it gets here. But one thing I want to mention is that, the whole mark of the beast, of course, biblically speaking, that's the time frame where during, real tough times, we're going to be forced to make some decisions as far as how we're able to interact or not with the mainstream economy. But just to go even, probably not even further, because we don't really need to think about what's going to be implanted into our body, because that is probably, in the future, so at some point. But yeah, right now, everything we do is based upon a cell phone. And so basically, you won't be able to do any type of interaction with the economy once the CBDC model is introduced, because it's going to be on your phone, on your smartphone. So you'll need a smartphone, and everybody already has one. So to me, that's probably the door opener for any type of mark, because everybody's connected to their phone, because we pretty much live life through our phones. So whatever that CBDC app, whether it's Fed coin app, Treasury app, Fed app, whatever it is, ultimately everything's going to flow through that first, and then down the line. And I'd imagine, if it takes place 5 or more than 10 years from now, will be my guess. At that point, the younger population, which will be what all this is geared towards, and the currently unborn, they'll know nothing about paper. They might know something about gold and silver, but they're going to only know the digital side of things. And so it'll be a lot easier to convince them to want to put something into their body, just because it'll be convenient. You don't have to carry a phone no more. Like, the goal is to put, there's projects where they got phones on your wrist. Like, you can put something under your skin and do everything on your, so they're trying to sell you with the use of technology. So it won't be hard, I think, for the younger generation to accept it, just because they won't know any different. And of course, by that time, the Bible will be outlawed. There won't be many books around. So it'll be easier to pull stuff off like that, because it's good to say a lot of people may not be around to give them any type of historical lessons, unfortunately. Anyway, phone lines are open. Let's talk, man. Give me a call. Curious to hear what else you guys got an eye on. I have another interesting article here that I think is interesting, but it says Elizabeth Warren wants the IRS to create its own TurboTax. What could go wrong? And so it looks like Elizabeth Warren is out here talking about Intuit. Spent years chasing profits under the guise of helping low-income taxpayers. The government shouldn't be relying on private industry to provide essential services. The IRS can and should create its own free tax preparation filing system. So once again, it's another free program sponsored by the good old government. So Elizabeth Warren, she's out here working hard, trying to get a CBDC in your hand for financial inclusion, to make sure that you're banked and all that other good stuff. So yeah, man, you can't make this stuff up. This is some crazy stuff. And then also I want to touch on, let me see here. Let me go. Here's something that let me see. Nope. So I'm going to grab some stuff from the Discord real quick, because I think it's very telling what's going on. I got a couple articles I want to share, so let me get this call real quick. All righty. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Mike, calling from Oakland. How you doing,
TB,
brother?
doing good, my man. What's up with you, boss?
Oh, nothing much, man. Sounds like we giving the Fed all the credit.
Might as well. It's their currency.
No, it ain't their currency. That's their jawbone. That's all they do. I keep trying to hit everybody the game, because that's what we need to do. We need to wake up and stop jawboning for what they want us to jawbone for.
Yeah.
They don't print money. All that money that everybody's saying they printing, that the trillions upon trillions, where's it at? Where'd it go?
It's in the system, man. It's in the system still on somebody's ledger.
Okay, it's a ledger. All it is just pay. It's a ones and zeros on a computer, right?
Yeah, and of course this green stuff. I got a green little bill in my hand that says Federal Reserve note on the top. This one too.
And read the rest of it now. Read the rest of it. Says debt.
Yeah, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private.
Debt, that means a promise to pay.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you paying.
Yeah. Very true.
Come on, everybody giving them too much credit. All the Fed is doing is actually jawboning and signaling to the hedge funds and everyone else that's in the markets what their plans are, what their intentions are, and then we look at it and say, "Oh, look, it's going up because look at the bond market. The bond market's going to tell you what the real economy is doing, and it's going down."
Yeah, I can dig with that. I can dig that 100%.
Yeah, so we need to stop looking at the Fed like they're almighty and all powerful. The ones you need to look at is the Jamie Dimons. Those are the ones that creating the money and making the money and getting the money.
Yeah, very true. Hey, man, I can ride with that.
So it's just like monetary. Inflation. We need to call a spade and stop trying to say it's a heart.
Yeah. So the thing is, I think it boils down to given the intended let me see what I'm gonna say, asset, but just consumer goods, put it like that. The consumer goods, there will come a time where the scarcity and being able to get what you want at the current price off the shelf will be a problem. And so use these notes and digits for your benefit by actually securing the things you need ahead of time instead of waiting for whatever that people might think is not coming, would be my recommendation. Would you agree?
No.
Why not? You think the shell's gonna stay stocked? You think the shell's gonna stay stocked in the midst of all this intended squeeze they putting on people?
I say that the bond market is just a reflection of what it costs to borrow money.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
The cost of what it is to borrow money. And if you printing a lot of money, your cost goes what?
Your cost go
down.
Up.
No, your
cost
down. That's where everybody misses it. The more you print, the cheaper the dollar is, right?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So I'm talking from a producer standpoint. Okay, from manufacturer standpoint, cost goes up.
Right.
Yeah.
The dollar goes up. The value of the dollar goes down. So the cost of goods are going to go down because everybody's trying to make that same dollar at a cheaper rate.
Well, what about the goods, the actual tangible physical goods? Like there's only so much real tangible wheat, corn, grass, and all the real things that are being deliberately withheld from us. those things will not. Those things are not in abundance.
You got to look who's controlling that. Mm-hmm. The Feds aren't controlling the commodities. They have no control over the commodities. That's why the commodity is going up.
The producers of those things, they're going to have to charge more. They're going to have to charge more if they're not able to make a profit off of stuff.
No, okay. You charge more. What am I going to do? What are you going to do if I go to the store and buy a loaf of bread for $3 this week, mm-hmm. and next week it's $5? What are you going to do?
If I want that bread, I'm going to buy it.
No, what are you going to do? I don't care if you want it or not. You say you're going to substitute. There's bread 99 cents sitting over here, and all you need is bread.
So I mean, you gonna go look for the cheapest bread. But if bread in around that entire area is $5, you either gonna go without it or substitute it with something else.
No, there's always going to be somebody that's going to want that lower dollar, that lower price. There's always somebody that's going to sell bread for 99 cents. It's whether you want to pay the $5 for the bread that you love.
I mean, well, yeah, you're going to go for the 99 cents for sure. But yeah, good luck with finding that. That 99 cent shelf going to be gone extra quick, because I would literally buy the entire shelf, creating a shortage.
More than 99 cents. Somebody had to do. Remember, we went on government cheese. Remember, we went on government bread. Remember, we went on that powdered milk. Yeah. Somebody else is going to buy that bread that can afford it, that has a job. Right. What about the ones that don't have a job? What are you going to do? You're going to go get that government cheese,
right,
refrigerator, and try to make you some mac and cheese with it.
Good point, man. Man.
So I can do this all day, man, and yeah. I'm down for having a show, so we can talk about this. But we need to talk. We really need to talk.
Hey, I agree, man. Hey, I enjoy that. Let's hang out in the Discord after this, man.
We can do that, brother. Keep your head up.
Be good. Yeah, man. Good stuff. TB, man, he always brings it, man. I appreciate him, man. All right, people, let's talk. Phone lines are open. What do you guys want to talk about? I want to make sure I bring to your attention, because I love referencing this. Let me put this on the screen right here. And so this is one thing I like to remind people of. If you go to treasury.gov, Department of Treasury, and you go to the Resource Center and you scroll down into the what are Federal Reserve's notes and how are they different from United States notes, you get a little understanding right here. It says, let me get rid of this one. Where we at? Where we go? I lost it. Where'd it go? Here we go. It says Federal Reserve notes are not redeemable in gold, silver, or any other commodity and receive no backing by anything. This has been the case since 1933. The notes have no value for themselves. They have no value for themselves, but for what they will buy. So ultimately, the paper, the digits, anything labeled as a Federal Reserve note, it's a debt instrument. It only has value in accordance to what you can buy when you go to buy something. And so as of right now, you can go down to the store and get a can off the shelf for $1, $10, $20, whatever it is, a soup can, $2, $3, whatever it is now. But it's good to say, based upon all the stuff we talked about here, as the monetary base continues to expand, it will be impossible for that one can on the shelf to remain at $1, $2 next month, probably next year for sure. 5 years from now, that can on that shelf, if it's there, will not be $2 or $3. So basically, if you know that you're going to be needing something ahead of time of importance to you, might want to get it now while that dollar still has the ability to grab that item at that same unit, because you will be guaranteed to need more units of currency to purchase this very same goods. A good, like I did a video about a can of Campbell's soup. Can of Campbell's soup right now is what, $2, $3. It's good to say next year it's not going to be $2 or $3. It's probably going to be 34, 30. It's going to be 30 cents more, 50 cents more. 5 years from now, if we have Campbell's soup on the shelf, it's definitely not going to be $3, $4. So use those units of currency to your advantage while you still can, because the Treasury tells you it's only good for what you can buy when you go down and buy it. So that means that holding large amounts of those units over time, you're guaranteed to buy less. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from? 1 second, Steve. Steve, how you doing, my man? What's going on with you?
I'm doing good. Hey, just wanted to touch on Genesis chapter 5 real quick.
Okay.
For you.
Yep. Go ahead. Give it to us.
I'm gonna go ahead and just run through these names. You could pull it up yourself, but let's just go through this genealogy here.
Yeah.
We're looking at Adam.
Give it to me quick. Give it to me quick, though.
Yeah. Adam, Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah. Those 10.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to run through what their names mean real quick. Just real quick.
Yeah.
Adam means man's. Seth appointed. Enosh mortal. Kenan sorrow. Mahalalel the blessed God. Jared shall come down. Enoch teaching. Methuselah his death shall bring. Lamech the despairing. Noah comfort or rest. So in other words, what you have there, just with those 10 names hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
In the Old Testament, you have the New Testament revealed in the Old Testament. Basically, what those 10 names mean is, man is appointed mortal sorrow, but the blessed God shall come down, teaching that his death shall bring the despairing comfort or rest. That's all in those 10 names.
Man, okay, I never heard that before. Go ahead, you put that together quite well.
and anybody, I didn't put it together. God did.
Right.
Anybody can look this up themselves. Because I did it. If you get a strong concordance, that's number one, I guess. Get a pretty good concordance that has Hebrew in it, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's what those 10 names say. In order. Boom, boom, boom. And I went online this weekend to go, okay, I know I can do it from the concordance.
Yeah.
But can I do it? Can I just go online and just Google this stuff? And you come up with the same thing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be some scholar, but let that marinate.
Yeah.
The gospel of the New Testament hiding in plain sight in the genealogy of Adam through Noah.
Hey, only a God of that magnitude with wisdom beyond anything we could ever comprehend could come up with something like that, man. The wisdom of God is just, it goes beyond our level of understanding, man. But I like it though. I enjoy it.
Yeah. He's playing chess. He's not playing checkers. And here's another little nugget.
Yeah.
But before I get off the phone with you, if you look at Methuselah there, his name means his death shall bring. The flood couldn't even occur until Methuselah died.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mike, you can't even make it up. The flood happened right after Methuselah died.
Yeah. But Methuselah, 300 years. We got sons and daughters. Yeah. I hear you, man.
Hey, but what I'll do, and I'll let you go. What I'll do, Mike, after your show's over, because I want to finish listening to your show.
Yeah.
After your show's over, that same information, I'm going to put it side by side with their names, their genealogy. I don't want anybody to believe me. Check that Bible to make sure that I have everything in order.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put the name and I'm going to put the meaning of their name in Hebrew. You always have to go back to Israel for stuff, but I'm going to put them side by side, and you're gonna see the same thing that I just read to you.
Yeah. I would do, man. Well, hey, appreciate you, Steve. Send me that email, man.
All right.
Yep.
Take care, buddy.
Be good. Yeah, good stuff, man. Man, I find that stuff to be very interesting, man. It's always good to learn something new. That's why I gave you guys a chance to call in and share your voice, man. What's going on? Let's talk. We got a lot of other subjects, man. I was trying to look for, let me see here. Don't want to get sidetracked. Take these calls one at a time. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, this is Ed. How you doing, Mike?
Ed, I'm doing good, my friend. What's in your mind tonight?
Hey, real quick one for you. Let's go beyond, what the stuff we're talking about now. Let's go right down when the Antichrist is chasing Christians around trying to persecute them and murder them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Say your wallet, your only way of buying and selling is going to be through your government digital dollar, which is going to be through your phone. When most people are right-handed, they'll put it in their left hand or swipe with their right, but most people pull the phone out of their pocket. It's in their right hand, isn't it?
Yep. If they're right-handed.
And then when you look at it, you hold it up to your eyes. Where your eyes at? Your forehead.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you take that federal digital phone, might be the Biden phone. They had the Obama phone. Then that may be the mark of the beast. So watch out when you got to take a federal phone. You got to have that phone to buy and sell.
Yeah. I
think the Christians will be throwing these things away and be up in the hills. Jesus told us to run to the hills. That's just this is my left field for you tonight, Mike.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling and sharing that.
All right.
That'd be good. Yeah. Yeah, I think we all can agree that the goal is to make sure we're all connected. And just to show you how serious this is, let me share with you something that I grabbed off of. So for the most part, a lot of people, if not everybody, everything most people do happens to revolve around and through Facebook. And it looks like Mark Zuckerberg is up to his next project, which probably includes you. And so I'll put this on the screen right here. And so Mark in the metaverse. So Facebook CEO on why the social network is becoming a metaverse company. So ultimately, Mark Zuckerberg is trying to work with a lot of other tech companies, basically creating a virtual world for everyone to function in some capacity. So it says the future of the company will go far beyond its current project of building a set of connected social apps and some hardware to support them. Instead, he said Facebook will strive to build a maximalist, interconnected set of experiences straight out of sci-fi, a world known as a metaverse. So he's trying to create his own computerized world. And of course, he has the headset, Oculus or Octopus, whatever it is, with a little head, virtual reality glasses. And so between the blockchain, virtual reality, automation, robotics, and all types of other things I've talked about in prior videos, it's 10 or 12 new sectors, new technologies that will become the fourth industrial revolution, leading technologies. Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, because he already has access to basically everybody's phone already. They're going to create an entire sci-fi world where everybody will be plugged in. And so think about this. Within this world, the blockchain lingo and technology will exist because they're going to have virtual land, everything that we have in the real world will be present inside of these virtual reality worlds that we will be able to put on your glasses, and you might even work in the virtual world. So imagine putting on your glasses to go to work, and you just go through the whole motion as if you're really in there. You get up, put your clothes on in the show, you get in your car, you drive, or you telecommute or whatever. You can fly. You probably can fly to work if you got enough money in that virtual world, and you'll do a full 8 hours, 9 hours worth of work with those glasses on inside of a virtual world. This is the type of craziness that we're heading towards. But yet this is the benefits of technology. The people who are early in this, as far as adopting, paying for it on the ground level of these things, they're going. So Mark Zuckerberg has plans for everybody. And of course, it's just not Mark Zuckerberg, it's Twitter, you name it. They all going to call themselves getting involved. You muted yourself. Nope, I did not. It just flashed up, so some glitches. All right, let me get this call here. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello?
Yeah, this is Paul.
Paul, how you doing, my man? What's on your mind tonight?
We got a few things here. I don't know if you saw can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. I can hear you.
Okay, let me try and turn this down. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Como was talking about going door to door and throwing people in cars and driving them to get the thing. I don't know if you saw
Really?
that.
I did not know. Give me some more insight.
I just saw he came on and gave a speech, and that's what he said. He was, gonna
really
get to the point where they're gonna drive to people's doors and throw them in cars and drive them to where they need to go. Do what they need.
Craziness, man. And that's it. It just shows how desperate the politicians are to convince people to participate in this whole experiment. And they seem they seem strapped for time. Like they know that there's a time limit on them being able to convince people that it's safe and effective and all those words they use before, people actually witness the results and adverse reactions and side effects of what happens when this next upcoming flu season hits, when this winter comes. And it would be very hard to hide some of the consequences of the participating in our stuff, man. But it just shows how desperate they are, man.
Yep, and so they got that, and then they got the marches in D.C., the Cubans marching for freedom.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot going on in America. Around the world there is. I think people need to join up with those guys and start getting on board, because those guys are the only ones out there in America. It seems like they're doing it right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Anyway, you know what I mean?
It's so much stuff happening, man. It's very alarming. But yet, unless you go looking for it, you wouldn't even know this happened. So on the screen right here, I put a video from the Discord where it says Canadian government sends letters to the people who have not participated. So this person basically just talks about this little TikTok type video, but on the screen here, you can basically see some letters from the government. There says a COVID-19 vaccine has been reserved for you, and it's just in his mailbox. So him and his wife both got letters saying, you know, where they can go, and if they have any questions, they can contact them. And so basically, they just put out on blast, man, like, you know, hey, we got something for you, come get it in Canada. So
yeah, people still don't believe it's even happening, and I saw Pizzacki giving a speech and shouting out to Chuck Schumer, and I mean, you should know who these people are. I don't know if anyone's seen the picture of him on Epstein Island, but you can look it up. It's pretty gross, and it's just funny that they're shouting that guy out on TV during the speech.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the silver squeeze. You know, didn't really jack the price of silver, but you go to the store, and you can't. The selection is not there. You know, you got to buy it in
whatever you can get,
or whatever they got.
Yeah.
And you know, it's more expensive and it's a lot easier to sell. You know, you had some for a while, you're making money, you know. So
right. So I think
it's had a big effect, and it's going to have a huge effect in the years to come. It's just going to be harder to get, and the price should go up.
Very true, and that's the thing. Like
everything's digital.
The paper rigging system is so deep in the system, they might be able to, you know, get some more life out of this manipulation. But yet, once again, if you're able to get a hold of anything, take advantage of it, because I think that's the kryptonite to the entire monetary system in of itself. Gold and silver, of course, but silver in particular, because it has more than just monetary properties to it, which is going to be very valuable now and in the future. And all the mining individuals I interviewed talked about how you cannot have this computerized technological future without silver being included in that. And you won't be able to grab it for everything that they have planned in the abundance that they need to take us into this virtual digital world. Green everything world needs unbelievable amounts of silver. So it's either you raise that price or you make some alternatives. So we will see what gives first. But
thanks for pointing that out. Sometimes I forget what I already know, and they can't do what they want to do without the silver. So
right, it's a part of the equation. So they got to stockpile somewhere we don't know about, or they're gonna have to let that price ride and be willing to factor in those costs when they try to sell whatever they're selling, because you can't have $25 silver forever. But hey, man, appreciate you calling in, my friend.
Thanks. God bless.
Yeah, be good. Same to you. Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, people, phone lines open. Give me a call. A couple more minutes and get ready to dial back. I see a lot of thoughts out here in the chat. Let me see. Let me pull out some chats real quick. Detecting the government BS. The silver got slammed today, almost under 25. Yeah, like I always say, they can take it down to probably $10, but yet good luck with finding it at $10, because the premiums will make up the difference. So the likelihood of silver actually going down to where it's something you can find is not too likely, because as everyone's probably witnessing, you being able to get what you want and how much you want when you want it is probably not the easiest. It's possible, but not the easiest. $25.14 right now. And you think about this let me see. Here's another little graph, man. I love graphs. So here's something that Lynn Alden put up on her Facebook or Twitter, I'm sorry. But it says this chart shows U.S. broad money supply per capita, the gold price in U.S. dollar, the median household price in USD, and the consumer price index all normalized to 100 in 1995. So if you guys notice here, from 1970 up until 1995, the M2 supply, as well as the median house price and CPI, were all relatively identical. They're parallel all the way from 1970 all the way up to 1995. And then, of course, something broke in 1996. The great the Asian crisis happened, which basically caused some reverberations in the markets. And from that point on, the Fed stepped in, of course, to help some things out with the system. And from that point on, everything kind of went it split. So here we got the gold price took a major dip, but then, of course, it caught up for the most part. And it's up here now with the M2 supply. And then we have the median sale of houses, of course, rising. But for some reason, the CPI just seems to remain relatively leveled all the way throughout. Makes me wonder why. Something's not right. Somebody's lying to us. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
Hey, man, it's King D again.
King D, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I just wanted to raise a few points real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Man, I'm still standing with Tony on it. In fact, I dug into it deeper, and I mean, it really seems like people are just playing around with semantics and stuff because there's inflation, disinflation, and then also deflation. I don't know. I posted a video on the Discord a ways back, and it's kind of long, but it breaks down these different things, and like it gets really, really kind of complex because you can have some things could be inflationary in a deflationary environment and stuff, but overall, from what I've seen, Tony's pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
I'll kind of leave that at that, but I think the biggest thing that I've seen today was the stuff with PayPal teaming up with the ADL. Man, I mean,
I didn't see that one.
That one needs to get a big deep dive on it. Like, basically, if you're caught with some sort of hate speech or right-wing, you know, whatever, conspiracy theory stuff, it's like all these platforms are teaming together to block you out. And that's including your access to the internet through, like, Verizon and stuff like that. But I don't know. I haven't dug into it a lot. I did a little deep dive, and it's pretty scary, man.
Yeah. And so, and I wasn't familiar with what you're talking about, but one thing I did just today, I thought about the fact that at some point in the near future, as we're witnessing, you know, government officials try to clamp down on people for not participating, they try to mandate everything. It's only going to get worse as far as them trickling into the actual financial realm of things. So when it comes to accessing your bank account, they're going to try to come up with some type of lie, or if you got, you know, any type of services where it's done online, it's only a matter of time before they are forced, I think, to use that as well, because people can probably go around, you know, their jobs or whatnot, because everybody works from home, stuff like that. But at some point, they're going to say you can't get paid no more unless you show proof of you having such and such and such, because you can't come into the bank. It's going to be a health hazard and all that other stuff they're going to try to throw at us. So it's just a matter of time. So that ADL stuff, as I pull up now, it doesn't surprise me at all.
It's ridiculous, man. It's like using certain numbers, like Roman runes, or, you know, like the rune symbols and stuff. Like, it's getting crazy. But then they leave it kind of vague, like, oh, well, this one could be good or it could be bad. Like, you need to look at the context of it. So it's like they have a way out of it. You know, where they can kind of decide. Because, like, I mean, I've seen one of them. They had like if someone was against Antifa, you could be on it, but if Antifa uses it, it's okay. It's like that type of thing.
To be very selective.
I'm here.
No, I said it's going to be very selective. They're going to pick and choose which groups, what movements, what narrative they want to be spoken. If not, you'll get a strike or get banned or whatnot. So PayPal and fellow payment companies, Stripe, earlier this year banned Donald Trump. So I think the way they took Donald Trump off of all the social media platforms, as well as whatever else they might have done to him, was a good indication of that type of stuff progressing into the average Joe's pathway. So it doesn't surprise me one bit, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of scary because it's like if you write a certain series of numbers on Reddit, you could be blocked out of PayPal, you could be blocked out of this, that. Like, they're really starting to micromanage everything, man. And it's something to really kind of pay attention for. Like, it's gonna ramp up quick.
Right, I do agree, man. Thanks for bringing that to our attention, my friend. I didn't even hear about it today. Thank you.
Yep, take care.
Be good. Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. And then, you know, as far as the deflation stuff, I'm on board with that, man. There's multiple factors at play right now. So I'm not saying that, you know, deflation is not real, because definitely it is. I've, you know, watched some of those same videos and had a chance to dive in as I learned, just like everybody else, about what's going on. And so I think you know, whether it's deflation, disinflation, inflation, monetary, I mean, all these terms, it all boils down to me personally, is my purchasing power. Like, if we went to an extreme deflationary situation, of course, I should have a little bit more purchasing power, but yet I wouldn't hold my breath, because your purchasing power typically increases during deflationary time frames, because currency carries a little bit more of a premium. And that's why everybody like Warren Buffett and all those guys saving large amounts of cash, because they plan on having opportunity to catch some fire sales. So asset prices tank. The cash will be worth more, so you'll get more bang for your buck. Okay, cool. But then in the long run, I'm talking 5, 10 or so years from now, we the people should be concerned with the fact that the monetary base will go berserk in hopes of trying to keep things from going under. Therefore, there's only a small amount of goods in existence. Manufacturers, small businesses will be completely alleviated. They want you to own nothing. So that means that the little bit of cash you have is all about protecting and preserving that as long as you can. And of course, that's why I say, importance of getting your weight up, getting your metals up. If you play in this space here, of course, it's going to appreciate as well. Anything that has monetary property will increase in nominal terms moving forward, but it's going to be a matter of what can you buy at the time. And that's why I'm like, right now, when the shelves are still stocked, your currency is still able to purchase things that are relatively lower price in comparison to other nations. Take advantage of it, enjoy it as best you can, because it will not always remain that way. And as you guys can see over my shoulder right here, we're already sub-zero as far as what 1 unit of currency, i.e. the Federal Reserve note, can purchase. It's only going to go further. And here's the thing: if we actually have this next correction where we really go negative, outright negative, cash will be a threat. So they're going to implement the cashless society 100%. So all the current Federal Reserve notes and digits you currently have, they're going to have to do something with that. And either they're going to roll it into the CBDC version of, or give you a prorated of like six US dollars for 1 EUSD or something like that, based upon what we saw from other countries or whatever who had issues. So at the end of the day, deflation, inflation, to me, it's all about my purchasing power, getting as much bang for my buck as I can, and actually buying real assets that will appreciate in nominal terms moving forward, buying me some time to be able to withstand these rough waters, and hopefully on the other side of this have something to, as I say, squeeze out my sponge of liquidity into something, whatever that new currency might be. So I personally, it's very entertaining, it's very educational to learn about all these different factors of how the macro economy works, but ultimately your average Joe could care less because they are already tapped out. We talked about this for years. Was it 30%, 40% don't even have 50% don't have $1,000 saved or something like that, and retirement, majority of millennials or whatever only got a couple thousand in savings. So I don't think people are gonna really be concerned with deflation or inflation. They will be concerned with mere survival. And that's why I say right now, with whatever currency you have, put it into something that's going to protect and preserve. Now, however things play out around you on a macro level, I'm sure people won't really care at the end of the day. So I don't dive too deep into how, what, why, when. I just know right now, I tell people, get your weight up. That's kind of what I focus on, of course, getting my stats up as well. So anyway, that's my little rant, man. But I think more people worry about food, clothes, and shelter than they will whether or not it was deflation first, inflation first, hyper, because it ultimately going to lead to hyperinflation. Every nation around us has always ended. Their currency has always ended in hyperinflation. So how we get there first, I don't really concern myself with that overall. I just want to definitely make sure I preserve and protect, have something for future generations of my family if I can. So anyway, people, I can go on and on and on, but I'm not. Let's get ready to dial back. It's good to connect. I appreciate you guys for taking time with me. If you've enjoyed the back and forth and all the rants, and of course the opportunity to connect in the community, definitely hit that thumbs up button. I want to encourage you right now, if you're interested, go down to the social media tab and check out the Discord page as well as the Telegram group. Get connected with RTD off YouTube as well, and just so you always be connected. And then we'll be back tomorrow night, Lord willing, same time, same place. Bring us topic, let your voice be heard, and let's end some good news, man. So I appreciate Steve calling earlier, giving us the biblical names and their meanings, and how it basically God put from beginning to the end all within those first 10 names. And it ends with the idea of us being saved, us having a Redeemer. We know who he is. Jesus Christ is his name. And everything we're experiencing right now, it's right in according to the time frame that God knew was going to be here. I never knew that 2020 was going to be that year where we'd be introduced to completely something new, but he did. And this decade, as I've always said, is going to be the most interesting decade of all of our lives, because the globalists, the elite, all those individuals, those evil individuals, they're not going away. They're trying to execute their plan. And so we got to make sure we execute our plan as well. And it starts with our faith, building up our faith so that we can withstand in these tough times. And of course, all the practical matters of preparations of food, water, shelter, clothing, everything you need to enjoy this life and live in this body while you still got it. So, but it all happens to flow through the name of Jesus Christ. So I want to make sure, give props where props is due, and lift up the name of the Lord. So for those that are still tuned in, if you guys want to just say a little prayer with me and close this thing out, I'd like to give props where they're due, because none of us would be here had it not been for the saving grace that we have now, and to have our sins washed away in the blood. So Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather tonight, and we just lift you up, Father, give you honor and glory because you are the King, you are the Creator, and everything exists because of you, Father. We ask you to give us wisdom and insight, and just help us strengthen our faith, Father. Give us that courage we need to continue to fight and to be bold enough to share our faith with others, so that more people can be entered into your kingdom, Father. We ask it all in the name of Jesus Christ, the Mighty One. Amen. All right, people. With that being the case, that's all she wrote for tonight. Be blessed, be safe, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.